Don't say anything yet, because I've got to do one other quick little thing here. All right, so I had to go over to the YouTube page and um and basically basically mute it. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna go out camera for just a moment here. So just sit tight.
All right. No problem.
for, for whatever reason, at this time of day, my nose just seems to want to act up. And you may see me grab. I've got my own little soda here as well.
Okay.
I should probably do that though off camera. But anyway, so there's at least three of us here, so that's good. Having a good start here.
Looks like Toys is here.
Yeah,
Good
and then
evening. Good evening, Toys.
how goes it, Mike? Everything's fine. Batgo and I were just catching up a little bit on the last couple of days. Um, so I just ordered a big bunch of figures, and then who's the hot co-host? Mike, oh god, you see that, Batgo?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I just got done, Toys. I just got done telling Mike that I've been cleaning my bathroom for the last couple days. Actually, I started on Wednesday, so that's part of what was going on, Mike, is that I'm doing stuff here around the house so we can have people over. Because there's nowhere to go now because I won't get into that. So that's what, like, I didn't shower or anything. I'm like, my hair was all sweaty, and this is, as you can see, it's a banded up mess. So I look like
Yeah, I normally
poo.
try to remember to brush my teeth right before I start, but I didn't really get around to it because I'm like still drinking the soda there. So let's see. I have a bottle of whiskey.
That's how to party.
Good evening, Becca. Okay. And now it's saying that we only have two people in here. Boy.
You know, I noticed that count, the counter on YouTube seems to be delayed for about a minute or so as people are coming in and out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I noticed from sitting on my end on the chat side.
Yeah.
What it seems
Well,
like.
I'm looking at both, of course, the YouTube count and the count here on StreamYard, and it, so.
Is there a count on StreamYard? I don't see that.
Yeah. It's in this upper, well, where I'm seeing it, it's in this upper left hand corner here. The red is live and then gives the time as to how long the stream's been going, and then right next to it there's like a little there's like a little, what looks like a little eyeball, and
okay, so that must be because since you're hosting it, you have a different control panel. So I just see the live up there. So I click back to YouTube, and I'm muted right there. Now it says there's 4 watching.
Yeah. Well, welcome to. We're just waiting for people to come in. That's why we haven't started yet.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah. So as you know, Batgo, tonight we're gonna probably be looking at April of 1936.
Sounds good.
There were 4 comics. In fact, maybe I'll just excuse me there. I'll pull that up right now, get us prepared for that, so that when we do get going, we'll be ready to get going. Let's just hope I doing this. Yep, I did it right. Good. See, the thing is, I use the same site also for the history portion of it too. So
okay.
So I've got like, and as I told you before, I have a bunch of different windows open for this thing. So let's see. Oh, okay, that was just that. Okay.
Yeah, I only have 2 windows. It's easy for me, and then I don't know, as you know, but if you see, like, I take notes. I write things down as you're talking about stuff, so I can talk about it later if we need.
So basically, let's see. I should have at least done a little bit more thinking here as to how I was going to present. I did preview these comics earlier, so but basically, so we got like 4 people here, so I guess I'll get started here. So now we're heading into April of 36. We're still in the midst of the Depression. Now, many of the titles here were considered monthly titles, meaning they came out every month. But however, not even though they were considered monthly titles, it doesn't always mean that they came out every month. And I think during this time, I mean, if you remember, we had 6 comics last week when we looked through it. Here, there's only 4, and there's only a couple that actually, from the previous month, and then the other 2. Well, no, actually, there's 3 of the 4 there because King Comics, More Fun, and Famous Funnies were all in March as well there, and then Popular Comics was back in February last. But with the economic situation of the times, of course, putting out a monthly book was probably pretty difficult. So why don't we go? Let's see. Shall I wait a few more minutes before getting really into the nuts and bolts of it, or let's see. We're right now at 6:50. I'll let you guys.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys look at those for a sec. While I'm going to go off camera one more time, maybe take a drink and all that. So
okay.
I'll let you guys take a look at that, and then if Batgoat, if you want to, as you're looking at those, want to give any commentary on it.
I'll talk to him about other stuff here, Mike. So we're good. I was telling Mike I didn't really get a chance to look at anything during the week. I was doing other stuff, and I wanted to look into Slim Pickens. Remember last week I talked about that, the actor Slim Pickens. And there was one of the comic book characters, Slim Pickens. So I wonder how he was influenced. He changed his name. When did he die? Man, the timing would be right, in my opinion. So I suppose I could look that up on Wiki. And gosh, I keep forgetting what's his what's the big role we know him for?
And I was listening to you as you're talking about Slim Pickens there. I can probably
Blazing Saddles. He's the Mr. Taggart in Blazing Saddles. I think that's his most memorable role, in my opinion.
Okay, so the actor you're talking about, I guess the actor you're talking about, Batgoat, his stage name was Slim Pickens, but his real name was Louis Burton Lindley Jr.
Okay.
Born June 29, 1919, passed away December 8th, 1983. So put him about 64, I believe.
God, he died that long ago. Wow.
Yeah. I was 8 years old then.
I was in high school back then.
Yeah, so Slim Pickens was an American rodeo performer and film and television actor for much of his career. Pickens played mainly cowboy roles. He is perhaps best remembered today for his comic roles in Dr. Strangelove, Blazing Saddles in 1941, and his villainous turn in One-Eyed Jack.
I said all 3 of those last week. I mentioned the Blazing Saddles. I said he was the captain of the B-52 riding the missile all the way down. Yeehaw! That's a very famous thing, and then 1942, where he got captured on the Japanese submarine. It's really funny.
Yeah. 19, yep, he did. And it looked like we lost somebody apparently. Oh wait,
Oh,
I guess now they're back. They were gone for
yeah,
a
that's all
moment.
right.
All right, so we're past the 10-minute mark, so I'm going to go ahead and get started here. So, as I was saying though, with the comics here, even though most of these comics were considered monthly titles, obviously they would skip months here and there early on due to the financial situation of the time. So, let's Lynn Piggins, yeah, 1983. So, so first off, of course, here's King Comics number 2, 64 pages from David McKay. We talked quite a bit extensively about King Comics because King Comics was, of course, the comic book was based on a lot of the King Feature Syndicate characters, like Popeye and the cast of Thimble Theater, as well as Flash Gordon, Mandrake the Magician. Um, so this was the second issue of that. 64 pages. So we'll take a quick peek at I won't read through the synopses as much, but just more just kind of give you how many different like sections and all that they had in it. Because we talked about how they have like it seems like they got like 20 plus stories over a 64 page, 20 to 30 stories in a 64 page book there. So let's see. And of course, this comic ran for 155 issues too, so that was a pretty lengthy. And there's the cover from number 37, which we'll probably see a little. Oh, it looks like It looks like for this issue, it only has skeleton data. The first time I actually look up what skeleton data is. Probably just simply means just has very basic information like price, and then you see nodal title index here. Yeah, that's all they got. So they don't have like. Um, but again, it shouldn't be too surprising because again, a lot of this, King Comics was primarily a lot of it was, as I said, a lot of the characters that were based on the King Feature Syndicate characters with Popeye, with Popeye, which came from Thimble Theater. You had Popeye, Olive Oil, Wimpy, and all that, and then you had, of course, Flash Gordon and Mandrake the Magician. And for those of you who are watching cartoons in the 80s, you might remember a cartoon called Defenders of the Earth, which had a lot of the superhero type King Feature Syndicate characters. Flash Gordon teaming up with Mandrake the Magician, the Phantom, and Lothar. Lothar, who was Mandrake's
I don't remember that.
You don't remember? It was. I think it came out in '86. So I don't know if you were still watching. And it was a syndicated cartoon. So
Okay.
I
Yeah,
wonder
great.
if it's YouTube being what? Sergey said he's going to miss the show this time. He's got work. Sergey, oh, is Serge? Is that the guy from that Facebook group you were telling me about? ATC. The main event collectors. I joined that group, by the way, back on. I just sent shared it on their page as well as my normal Facebook share. So anyway, so with that, King Comics #2. Here's Popular Comics #4. I counted this earlier. There's like 28 stories here, 28 stories here. All but one are basically comic strip reprints. The only one that actually no, actually no, this is the one that actually has all reprints. It looks like because wait, no, I stand corrected. The Tom Mix here. So I think it was one of these stories that actually was not, I guess, a reprint.
Toy said yes, by the way, as far as you were asking about his friend
Yeah, okay.
Serge.
All right. So yeah, there's a Tom Mix story in here that's a 2-pager called The Fighting Cowboy. This is from Popular Comics, of course. So yes, we do have some time. Maybe I'll go take a quick peek at that. Let's see how that little let's see how that see if we can find it, of course. See how that story looks, over those 2 pages. So let's see. In Popular Comics with PO, so probably means we want to work backwards here. Let's see. Editor, so. Well, maybe. Okay, poison. All right, Popo. Okay, I know I found it. Maybe it wasn't here. That's right. It's probably the other site I use for comic book stuff. No, Popular was done by Dell, so again, I just wanted to try to read that Tom Mix story because I know, from what I understand, that one was a Western style comic. So, yeah, that was kind of. We know. Oh, it still don't have. It still don't have a issue with that. Oh well. Oh well. So yeah. So basically, Popular was now Dell. Of course, one of the things Dell would become known for is taking other properties and making comic book adaptations of, like like in later years when you got to the TV era and all that. But like some of the stories you can see in here include like Regular Fellers and Daisy Bell, which were fairly appeared all over comic books as well. Little Orphan Annie, Dick Tracy, Gasoline Alley, Tom Mix. So Tom Mix seemed like it was an original. So just to give us an idea of just how comic books looked back then and all that. Um, as I was saying, though, one of the big things about comic books back these days, is that even though they were all at this time they were all more or less considered monthly in terms of their distribution. They didn't always come out every month. Not every title came out every month. You might have a title that might skip a month because production costs and what have you. And of course, this would be kind of a recurring theme in the 30s and the 40s because, particularly towards the end of World War II, when they were rationing materials, a lot of comics would also start to like only the most popular would remain monthly. You'd have a lot of quarterly, bi-quarterly titles, bi-monthly, all that. So, and quarterly basically meaning they only came out, once a season basically, or 4 times a year. Vintage comics are so cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is kind of an appeal to them, particularly in some of the writings and stuff like that. So this is the one I was going to focus on tonight. More Fun, because this is the 10th issue of More Fun from DC Comics. 10th issue. So basically,
Was that guy? Was there a full moon out there?
What do you mean?
That dude on the cover.
Actually,
he had his shorts off. I saw his booty.
Yeah.
He's doing the full Monty.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if these were made for kids back then or not, but
yeah, I don't think so. We've talked about that before. It was definitely for adults.
Well, here's the thing too. Today we call these things comic books or comics, right? We call them either comics or comic books. But back here in this time period, they were calling them comic magazines. Were you aware of that? They were called comic magazines back then.
As opposed to comic books. When did they naked kid? Hey Woody. When did that take place?
I don't know when the change took place, but naked kid. Hey Woody. Skinny dipping, yeah. Well, from what I understand, that was something that was done back then anyways. I'm going to go off camera for just a quick moment, and I'll be right back. Going to get some more soda here. Oh, back down to 4 again. Well. Okay, so let's see now. All right. My brain just seems to be a little slow tonight, I guess.
Went a little robo there.
This is More Fun number 10. Yeah. Oh, I did?
Yeah, just for a second. You're fine now.
Okay. Let's see. The publisher was DC under the name More Fun Inc. Let's see. This cover date of May 1936 went on approximate on sale date April 10th, 1936. This was classified, as I said, monthly title, 10 cents to cover price. Page count of 64 with Malcolm Wheeler Nicholson. Now, considering this is the 10th issue of More Fun Comics, so we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. You notice this went down because I think it was at one point. And you notice here back though how the number of stories went down. It's like initially they were like up to like 28 to 32. Now they're down to 25 over 64. But what you're gonna probably see here too is that, let's see. Okay, so 2 pages. Whereas before they were like 1 to 2, but I think now they're getting down to like 2 to 4, I think. Well, these are all like 2 pages, but as we noted, though, there's other stuff in the books as well now too. There's there's like activity pages, ads, and all that. So, all right. So what I'll do from here then is we'll go ahead and this one I think we do have we might very well have. I think this is more fun, but actually have the actual. Again, well, I'll read some of the stories just to kind of give an idea of you know of how how the stories were. I know that the Doctor Cult story in this one is a one-off, meaning as opposed to how they've been doing the serial storytelling. There was only this particular issue only had like the story is just like one story. It's not
Mike, what did they change Doctor Occult's name to? Didn't they change his name once or twice?
well, just for that one issue, because what happened was as we got into last month there, again, I believe it was due in part to the financial situation. Um, he was changed to Dr. Mystic because they had
Right.
gone to another company for
Okay.
that one story. For that one story, they went to another company because I'm guessing because this was the Depression era, the economics of the time. So, all right, here we go. So, um, I'm gonna before I get started with this, I'm gonna go off camera for one more time, real quickly. Gonna finish off my soda. Go take care of something real quick, and then I'll be right back. So I'm gonna Pat Goat, if you want to entertain them for a couple minutes while I take care of a couple of quick things.
Okay.
I'll be right back. Okay.
All right. What should I do? Ooh, hello. I'm kidding. Mike and I were talking before the show. He said that he had brought up a Smurfs movie from '83, something, the Christmas story, or Christmas Carol is a new one, I believe. And I had brought up that 1976 movie that I talked about before, which, if anyone here remembers, that would be amazing. You're a bigger geek than I am. The Magic Flute came out in 1976. It's a Belgian film, and they released it in America in 1983 due to the Smurfs' newfound popularity. So, and what I read was that they used non-union voice actors, although the British version had BBC actors for it. So there's two different versions of that Smurfs, the Magic Flute, which I like. It's a great movie. It really is. It's funky. That's what Mike was saying, except that he wasn't named Gargamel. It was a different. What did he call him? The evil person was called like the shadow, the whisper, the something. Because then Gargamel's the regular one that we're used to, and then Gargamel has I think it's his godfather. I think this dude and Gargamel's mom probably had a thing. That's what I think. The guy's name was Balthazar. He had a big castle with a dragon protecting it. If anyone remembers the Smurfs like I do. I mean, like, I know this stuff. I don't need to go to Wiki, which is kind of sad. But it's that's my thing. Everyone's got their thing, right? Balthazar had that big castle, and he was kind of like a sorcerer, much more than Gargamel, who was, Gargamel's a punk. He was a wannabe. Balthazar, man, he did some bad stuff against the Smurfs. He brought a gun against them one time in one of the winter shows they did, and he like shot at them and killed their bunny, and Papa Smurf brought him back to life somehow. Shall I stop talking Smurfs? Does anyone want me to talk about something else? I'm at a loss here. Toys. No, I just looked it up on Wiki to back up what I'd known. I didn't see anything about something called Fluted Six Smurfs. And like I was saying, it came out in 1876. It was Belgian. It came out in Belgium. So that would have been a different language, obviously, at the time. All right, cool. Thank you. Smurf it up. It's easier to talk when Mike's got his wiki page up, and we've got a list of the voice actors. Here's something funny. Let me show you how crazy my brain is. I was watching, as background thing I do in my room to fall asleep to, because I always have the TV on to fall asleep. There's something about being a medic for so long. I need noise and light. I can't sleep without it. It's weird. I have this show on from Netflix called Pucca, Pucca, and it's a remake from probably about 10 years ago. So they went with a different style of the animation. It's not as I remember the original one being pretty fun and pretty cool, and this one's like more kids version and whatnot. It's just different, but it's good. But there, I noticed a voice acting credit right at the end. Gray Delisle, Delisle, and I'm like, I know that's an American. That's like, I think it's a her.
Yes, it is. Gray Delisle, now known as Gray Delisle Griffin, actually has been a voice actress out in LA for quite some time. She's been on a few things.
I think she's done some famous stuff, like probably like Kids Next Door and like.
Yeah, I think one of her more famous roles. I think she's currently the voice of Daphne in the Scooby-Doo franchise.
Okay. Pucca. Toys is having fun with me. It's Pucca, and it's a Korean joint. So they even though they're trying to be like friendly and politically correct, there's some fun humor in there every once in a while. I'm like, oh goodness, I don't think the kids wouldn't understand some of the humor they do, but I'm like, that's not real politically correct. So pretty funny. I don't know if you've ever heard of Pucca, Mike. Pucca.
I've never watched it. I've kind of seen it. I've seen the title before, but I haven't. I thought it was one of those Nickelodeon type shows or something.
It looks like a kid's show. I'm not going to lie to you because it's about this little girl, Puke. Now you got me saying Pucca. It's Pucca. She's got a little buns and.
Let's see, smurfed it up. Let's see. Okay, laugh out loud. I'm not as smurfy as Bat Goat. Laugh out loud. You said Pucca. Okay, so Pucca.
But I just want to say it's not as kid. It's not as Hello Kitty as you would think. It's quite funny in my opinion, and it's really good animation. It's Korean.
All right. So, anyways, let's get back to the comics here. So, more fun number 10 here. 10 cents. And look, well, not only is he in the buff there, but look at you see the sign right there? No swimming. and he's just throwing all of his. They're all just throwing all of their clothes onto it. It's like
And
see the one on the left there,
yeah,
the one who is still pretty much clothed. Like he looks like he's got kind of a. This isn't just skinny dip. It looks like it must be cold skinny dipping.
yes, it's cold. I think they're. I mean, wow, that's funny. Back in '36, they're doing the. What are you looking at? It's cold out here because there's got to be shrinkage. Look how that water's really cold.
Uh-huh. Well, I think you can even look at the guy who's about to jump in there. You know, you can see they drew in the shiver marks right there.
Yeah,
See up above his head there, those like little lines there. Those are like
yeah,
shiver. That's the idea. They're trying to show you. Yeah, the guy. It's so cold. The guy is shivering.
yeah. It's not a good idea to be skinny dipping. That's cold. Here in Minnesota, we don't skinny dip. Even
Well,
even
from what I understand, I think there is some. I think I don't know. Minnesota may have one of these. I think Alaska does too. But usually around this time of year, don't they have some kind of, granted, it's not skinny dipping, but where you have a whole bunch of people who just, it's some kind of contest or something like that where you
polar
try
bear.
to swim. Yeah, okay. The polar
The
bear
po-
swim, I
the
guess.
polar the polar bear club is very big, a big representation in Minnesota, and I don't know what's happening now with COVID, but they around here they jump in a Prior Lake and they raise money. It's a big thing. Happens all over the state. People do polar bear plunges all winter long in Minnesota because we're crazy and stupid
Yeah.
and like the cold.
Yeah. So look at the bottom header here then. All original, all new mystery adventure thrills. Again, just tell you right on the cover what they're what the stories are going to be. So let's take a look at some of them. Look at how they communicate some of this better than ever, and still only a dime. Here's an ad for New Comics, one of the other DC titles at the time, the only other DC title at the time, in fact. Um, as I understand, I think DC or at this time was the only company that was doing multiple titles. All the other ones just had the one titles, um, I believe. So, which will change as this year goes along. By the end of the year, there'll be a number of titles out. Are you listening? Look at all that. The editor's note again. And here's Sandra of the Secret Service. So, anyways, we'll look through some of these stories because, as I said, this is going to probably be the one I was going to focus in on since it was the 10th issue, kind of a milestone issue, as it were. Um, Sandra, forced to impersonate the missing princess Yonda, is threatened with exposure by Count Wex unless she meets him by the Black Tower at midnight. High above the castle park stands the mysterious Black Tower of Gavonia. Strange tales are told of the secret halls and dangerous and mysterious passages of this ancient place. Don't you just like how they put that all together like that?
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Of course, I'm probably helping it out too, with with the dramatic tone in my voice.
Sure, they're painting a good and the 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 art itself really conveys that. And
Yes, you see, it's interesting. You see the symmetry here between what's being written and what's being drawn, and how they just kind of blend together like that. It's like the words really are telling you the story, and the pic and the art is showing you the story.
yeah,
So, in dread of danger, Sandra picks her way towards the tower. Unknown to her, a black shadow follows. In the shadow of an old oak stands a silent watcher. Silent watcher takes action. And look, she turns around. There, no dialogue there or anything like that. But a flash of steel by moonlight. Sandra is frightened by the clash of steel. The silent watcher is the victor. Meanwhile, after traveling a gloomy passage, Sandra is led into a brightly lighted room. What new danger has Sandra encountered? Continued. Again, this is, as I said, some of these stories, particularly these that were more earlier on, were written more serially, meaning the story would go over several issues. Uzi Watts. I'll go ahead and read this one, just kind of contrast between the drama and the humor there. Catch that one. Well, we'll give you $51.
I think you're saying fi. It's an apostrophe, like $5.
Yeah, okay, I couldn't tell that because of the.
I think so.
I'll give you. Okay, catch that one, and I'll give you $5. I can sure use five, Doc.
That'd be like saying $50 back then. That's $5 is a lot of scratch back in '36.
Right, back during the time of the Depression.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. And there's the stars, when it goes plop. He's trying to catch a butterfly there. Now why he's resting? Woozy watched by Alligator, of course. There's Woozy again. Oh, here we go. You see that? Back note?
Mm-hmm.
You see the humor coming right there? The butterfly lands on the guy's hat there.
He done goofed.
Yep. I guess hence the name Woozy Watch. He's a little woozy in the head.
Yes. He looks like this is a King. This is a King Features, right?
No, this is not King Features. That was King Comics that we were talking about.
Dang it.
More
okay.
fun. This is more fun from DC or more fun.
Okay, because he looks like Wimpy. This Woozy character looks a lot like Wimpy, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, they probably had a lot of characters like that back then, though.
That's true.
Kind of like short and stout and fat, kind of like usually meant to play the comic relief side of it. Why, here's my prize beauty, captured without the slightest effort. Yeah, on your part, maybe, right? And then Woozy getting chased there. And of course, you saw a lot of those signs in the 40s and 50s as well, in 40s and 50s cartoons right there. See that little sign down there that says keep off the grass? And here's a Jack Wood story. Got to go off camera for just a quick moment, so I'll be right back. So here's part 10 of that first Jack Wood story that we read way back when, Pancho Villa. Besieged in a cave by Pancho Villa and his brigade and his brigands, The predicament of Dolores and her father seems hopeless. Via grows angry. Come, you lazy pigs! Find me a path up to the cave.
Sounds like El Guapo.
I think guapo means handsome. Are you saying the guy's handsome?
No, he sounds like El Guapo from the Three Amigos. The character El Guapo.
On the other side of the rocky formation, Jack clambers up the almost sheer cliff, clinging desperately to his Winchester. If I'm only in time. Unseen by the bandits, Jack reaches the plateau and joins the little garrison. Amigo, I knew you would come. Almost I didn't, but here I am. It sure looks tough, but I'll get a few of those coyotes before they get us. The brigands toil relentlessly toward what they believe are a helpless girl and her injured father. And look, Jack looked like he's about ready to take the guy on in a fist fight right there.
They're throwing dukes.
Mm-hmm. They do not know that Jack Woods has joined his friends. Jack's rifle spits flames. Get that. Jack's rifle spits flame, and a bandit tumbles backward to his doom.
Damn.
Spits flame. That's an interesting way to put it, huh?
Spits. Well, yeah. If my rifle was spitting flame, I'd be like, something's a little wrong. We're burning a lot of cordite here. That's not what you wanted to do.
I wonder if is it a rifle or is it a dragon? Got him. Got him.
Pew pew. Got the bad guy.
Anchovia sees the added strength of his adversaries' camp and decides to change his tactics. The American dogs, I will go up the cliff the same way he did.
Is it a plethora of dogs, Jefe? I'm doing Three Amigos again, Mike. Sorry.
No wrong. Villa reaches the cave unseen by Jack and Dolores. The bandit knocks Jack's Winchester from his hand and covers him with his pistol. And now, my meddling friend, I am going to kill you.
Going to kill you.
Without hesitation, Jack leaps at Villa, and they struggle on the edge of the ledge. Who will win? Da 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 da.
Cliffhanger.
Right. Literally a cliffhanger.
Literally a cliffhanger.
And here's Ivanhoe, which I believe was based on a real story. From the novel by Sir Walter Scott. So
yeah, that's pretty famous. They made movies of it back in the early
they adapted it into comic books too. Obviously.
Yeah. That'd be like Prince Valiant.
Yeah.
They made they way back when, early color days, there was movies about Prince Valiant, but he was in the comics too, as you showed us.
Don Drake on the planet Cerro by Flesh. Here's a Barry O'Neill story again by Leo E.O. Merlin, I think. So, look at the colors there. As I told you,
Dang,
Barry
was he
O'Neill is kind of a playboy adventurer here.
looked like he was popping Mongol pirates trying to board his ship there.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I explained, as I may have explained before, Barry O'Neill is kind of a playboy adventure type.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like, um, think of Batman without the costume, basically. What Bruce Wayne tried to be before he donned the costume. But
Okay.
in this case, Barry O'Neill was acting more like an unofficial law enforcement officer. Basically, he was paired up with Inspector Legrand, and here's Fun Mail, Buckskin Jim.
That's cool.
I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you look at that for a moment, because I gotta go off camera for a couple minutes. Gotta go take care of something real quick. But
Okay.
just means the he doesn't clean it too often, if ever. Laugh out loud. I guess he's talking about the spitting of the fire of the gun.
Yeah.
That ain't no gun. This here is a real man's gun. All right. Well, anyways, I'll be right back.
That's funny. Buckskin Jim looks like a Davy Crockett type of character. Yeah, I've got a. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about guns. But yeah, spitting fire is not something you want to do. All right, what should I? What was I talking? I was talking about Puko when Mike came back. But that's fine. I already said what I need to say on that. What? You like the Three Amigos? Good, thank you. I love the Three Amigos. I haven't seen that movie in a while. Yeah, it's probably time to rewatch that. I know I've got a hard copy. I've got DVD of that. Man, that's a classic movie. That there's so many quotable lines from Three Amigos, like the plethora. I made the plethora joke, right? Would you, Epe, would you say I have a plethora of piñatas? Yes, guapo. You have a plethora. Epe, do you know what a plethora is? Oh yeah, that's right, toys. You don't want to die with a little CC gun. You want to die with a man's gun. He hands him that with the thing with the barrel. Well, the barrel's like that long, and he had to two hand it. It was so big. God, that's funny.
All right, I'm back. Yeah, well, and I heard you were heard what you said about Buckskin Jim being kind of a Davy Crockett like adventurer, which is true, kind of a frontiersman. And he wouldn't be the only kind of frontiersman type adventure DC would publish, because a few years later they would introduce a character called Tomahawk, whose name was actually Thomas Hawk. He was apparently raised by Native Americans and took part in the American Civil War in the, of course, DCU. So let's see. I too enjoyed the Three Amigos back. Yeah, okay. Um, laugh out loud right after calling the guy's gun a sissy gun, hands him a old rusty, and the guy hits the ground.
Yeah, little Ned Niederlander. Little Neddy Kanikas is what they called you when I was a child.
An old 8-inch barrel to break
No
revolver.
no break revolver. And then he
Okay.
shoots the guy and it like makes them fly like 30 feet back across the yard.
Mm-hmm. So I gotta go off camera one more time here, real quick.
You guys know what
Right. Alrighty. Oh, what was that, Pat? Go.
I was gonna say. You guys know what I'm doing when I do the Three Amigo lines, correct? Like, is
Well, I
that
know
right?
I never really watched it myself, but
Oh, okay. But I think they like these guys might be fans of it too. And Mike, that's my other big thing is like old stupid, not stupid movies, but classics: Blazing Saddles, Spaceballs,
yeah.
Three Amigos, Strange Brew, Airplane, Top Secret is like knowing lines from that. Caddyshack, being able to spout lines off the top of your head is that's kind of like an old dude pastime, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh wow, we're already at the 55-minute mark, and time flies. Anyways, Buckskin Jim by Tom Cooper. Rescued from the rushing torrent by a passing trapper, Jim is assured of help in finding a crossing for the wagon train. This is a likely place, lad, for the wagon train to cross. It's shallow, but we must get to your people. But we must get to your people. Yes, I guess they've given me up for lost. Well, boys, I guess poor Jim is lost. No use hanging around here. Just too bad, Zeb.
Zeb, yeehaw. Hey, Anon.
Probably short for Zebediah, is what I'd be guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Anonymity. Classics. uh, hey, just got on my way home. Okay.
You recognize my airplane line there?
Yeah, I've heard it before. I've even used it, as a joke, but
Yeah, everyone knows that
I
one.
never knew where it was actually from, though.
From Airplane.
Okay.
It'd be Leslie
the
Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen movie?
Yeah. It'd be Leslie. Surely you can't be serious.
Nielsen and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I'm serious, and stop calling me Shirley. That movie has so many greats in it. You've got Peter Graves as the pilot. You've got Lloyd Bridges as one of the ATC bosses. Captain Kramer is oh gosh, just a bunch of old classic actors in it. I'm sorry,
Okay,
I'm done.
Yeah,
Woody brought up a good point about Zeb there.
Could be Zebulon. Yeah, that could be true too. Zebulon, one of the 12 sons of of Jacob, I believe, or yeah, Jacob. Oh, Father, I cannot believe Jim is lost. Isn't there some way of finding him? I'm afraid ye can expect the worst, lass. Now, Jim, he gone. Mary make nice squaw for me tonight. By gore. Here, the half-breed guide watches Mary.
The half breed.
That's what they called him back in those days.
I love it.
Of course, today that would be considered racist.
Of course, yeah, it just is what it is. And he's a real jerk too.
Yeah. Late that night, not a word, or I kill you. Come, you squaw. I beat you. We go to Indian camp. Look, A wounded Indian. Meanwhile, Jim and the trapper come across a wounded Indian. We will take you back to your camp. White mankind.
He says, you're not so bad, honky.
Carrying the Indian to his own people, and a surprise, and a surprise. See next issue. Da 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 da. Bellion and Osha by Al Stahl. Hey, it's the Expressman. There is a big box out here for you. Help me open. Help me open. I'll tell you then. I I wonder what it. I wonder what it is. Oh boy, it's an airplane. And and a uh, and a book on how to fly it. Okay, you pilot Pelion, and I'll tell you how. Now that we are off the ground, it says first pull back stick. And they show you them flying a kite there. See. Why didn't you tell me you were going to loop? I, I. Hey, Pelion, you better land. I lost the book. I, I, I said we better land. I tried to do some funny voices there. I know.
Yeah, I was laughing at what Toys actually wrote in the comments.
Oh yeah, let's see what he wrote because I'm on another window. So laugh out loud, believe it or not, Indians spoke decent English, if not better at the time. The only reason they got the stereotype was because courts wouldn't recognize an Indian speaking in the courts, so they had to get a white man to speak for them.
And I'm sorry, I said it's funny. It's not funny. I mean, it's interesting to see. Yeah, that's true. It's kind of horrible, actually.
Yeah. Let's see.
Way to go, Anon.
Oh, what's he saying?
Hey, Leto.
Hey, Leto! We're going through some comics here. Hey, Mike, Fat Goat, Toys, Woody, and Anonymity. How goes it? I'll BW here. Okay, I guess he meant to say B here, but driving to work. Well, we're just going through some comics. We're going through more fun number 10 from back in April 36. Hey, it looks like I'm hanging out with this girl I work with, been trying to hang with this one for a bit.
That's our guy right there.
Hey, have a good one, Leto. So we're up to 6 people now, so that's good. So as we continue on here. I told you to land. And then that was, I guess, the I guess they must have crashed or something there. Let's see, did they? Oh yeah, I think that's exactly what it looked like. They actually crashed.
They did crash right into a tree.
Imagine that. Let's see. Super Pro. So here's another one. Here's one of uh, so 2023 Super Police. So this one's one of the sci-fi stories of the time. So I guess we'll take a look at this one and see, how they put the story together here. Rex and Axel believed to be dead by the pirate um, Kid Law, who has captured Joan. Right, and but that's just a little too faded there.
Yeah, it's
Captured,
small font too.
yeah, and the professor has entered a cave that leads them down into the hills. Suddenly, suddenly they are startled by a weird noise that at Elmo that echo about them. And good looking people appear from the from the recesses of the cave.
Mike, while you're reading this one, I'm going to go off camera for like 2 minutes. Okay.
Okay,
So I'll
beat
be listening.
beat it, Rex. They're all crazy. Wait, hey Axel, look where you're going. Well, you have us. You have us now. You have us now. Who are you, and what do you want? And then I guess up top here, these are the characters: Rex Cosmos, Pirate Kidlaw, Joan Shanley, Axel Yoke, and Professor Shanley. We are the all powerful gods of fortune. We are ready to receive you. Help! Rex! They got me! Help! The Queen! Hail the Queen! Aha! My aha! My Prince Charming! Next issue, The Queen's Bargain. Do we? I'm sorry, guys. I now gotta go off camera for a moment. Be right back. All right, I'm back now. Uh, how goes it, Leto? Good. Getting dressed and walking, walking our, walking out the door. You toys. How about Leto? Shouldn't you get dressed then walk out the door and laugh out loud? I'm good. Leto, my wife may be mad at me, laugh out loud, but I'm feeling better. Ah, So here's another story by Tom Cooper, Midshipman Dewey. Tom Cooper also wrote Buckskin Jim. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one. See how this. The crew have captured the ship and made a prisoner of the captain, while Dewey escapes and swims ashore. They they must have seen me. They are coming ashore. We will make our headquarters here. I'd like to know what happened to Dewey. I'd like to know what. Oh, okay. Oh wait, okay. Try that again. They must have seen me. They are coming ashore. We will make our headquarters here. I'd like to know what happened to Dewey. Very likely he tried to swim ashore. Sharks must have him now. There's a guard at the boat. I'll get him and then row out to the ship. That night, and you see right there, he's about to hit the guard with a little stick there. Huh. And that goat's not back yet.
I'm back. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just flipped around. Hey, just wanted to cut you off real quick and say thanks for saying that, Toys. I'm glad you're doing a little better just by hanging out with us. I feel the same way. It was a rough week for me, and I'm glad to be here with all you guys.
Okay, guys, I just wanted to say I was starting to fall into a bout of depression today, and Mike and Batgoat, you brought me back. Why? Because you're awesome folks to hang out with. Well, thank you for that. I echo much of what Batgoat just said. I thank you for that. You know, for me, in like particularly when we're doing stuff like this, like the comic retrospective here, right? If in doing so, if I can give you guys a respite by taking you back to another time and place other than the crazy world we live in, and I'd say
Yeah.
I'm doing a great service to those who come to join us when we have a chance to do stuff like this. We look back, we look at how people lived back in other times and how people perceive things at different points in history, and and even in fictional world like this here. This is what I was telling them back before you came back. I don't know if you were listening, but
I was listening. Yeah.
this is a story by Tom Cooper, who also wrote the Buckskin Jim story we were just reading. So another guy, and you can tell the style there as well. But I hope that when people do come in, and it does serve as a nice respite. Whether it's doing this or whether it's even just focusing on niche news during the week as well. Just take people away from some of the craziness that's going on in the world right now. Take us back
Yeah.
to a simpler time. So I appreciate what you said there, Toys, and I hope we can get more people in so they can feel relaxed and refreshed as well. Anonymity. Don't forget there are BBN always people who care about you.
I think that's a typo.
Yeah.
But yeah, very cool. Cool thing to say. That's really good to hear.
Yeah. So anyways, back to this story as we're looking at Midshipman Dewey, kind of a naval adventure here. Naval kind of lost island. Doesn't it make you want to just get into a boat and set sail on the seven seas?
No, because I've been on a United States naval fighting vessel, and I crossed the equator, got my shell back. It was 2 months 2 months in hell. I called it a great floating prison, and most people don't know what it's really like. It's very extremely difficult.
Well, I mean, okay, so maybe you don't want to do it for the Navy, but what about just being on your, being on your own, being on on a crew of a ship that's not necessarily military, you
I
know?
wouldn't want to. I definitely wouldn't want to do that. I like. I mean, it was right after 9/11. So I
Uh,
I want to be somewhere where when things go bad, we can start shooting back. That's at the very least. Being on an aircraft carrier, it's like we well.
well, let's continue on the story here.
But the one thing to make perfectly clear is that sailing is dangerous. It's extremely dangerous to this day. I mean, 19 years ago I went to sea, but things haven't changed. When we go to sea in the Navy, people die every time you pull out of port. Someone's not coming back. It's a dangerous, difficult place to be.
What, sailing the seven seas? Is that dangerous?
Oh God, yeah. We in fact we luckily we didn't have any deaths, which is crazy because we had a plane crash onto the fantail crash, or no, it screwed up the hook and it went over the side. And we had to short. It was wild. We had
I
a
mean,
sailor.
are you saying that sailing's even dangerous, even if you're not a military ship? If you're just sailing?
Yeah, if you're sailing around the world, I mean, we went from Norfolk, Virginia, around the Cape up to up to Coronado and San Diego. So anyone doing that on a non-military ship would be in for quite the ride because we went through gnarly seas.
Hmm.
We had a dude, one sailor, we had to fly off the boat. He fell. He was up in the hangar bay and he fell, and so he broke his neck. And normally, like we had to fly him off to a South American country, and then he was airlifted back home.
Huh. All right. Well, anyways, on with the story here. That got him. That got him, and not a sound out of him. And now to get the captain. I thought I heard something. Who goes there? Me, you scum. Dewey. See you next issue.
And then Anon said something else about sailing, and to take it away even from the Navy, merchant marines, or if you're working for like Myers, just a big cargo ship or regular, commercial type of sailing vessel. It's very dangerous. People die out at sea. It's a tough place to be. You don't want to screw up out there.
Twas a typo. And very dangerous, Mike. Aside from fall off and not knowing till it's too late, the places they dock aren't always friendly. Hmm. Yeah, I guess, and I've heard from some people I know too here that you know some of the some of the laws governing international waters and all that can be a little tricky too. So anyway, so more fun and magic. So here's some magic page here.
Pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Talk about talkies, but here's a text story. As
Talk.
mentioned, yeah. Well, you know what a talkie is, right? You
Yeah,
know,
well, yeah. I mean, how new were we really into talkies, into movies that they call talkies? That was like high tech.
right.
That's like being their tech
In
pager.
1936, that was high
Yeah,
tech.
yeah,
The
absolutely.
movies that had sound in them, that had where you had actually people speaking on film. You know,
Hmm.
as compared to today with computer graphics and all that. The magic crystal of history.
And toys work with the ship's doctor. Yeah, I guess maybe I don't know how civilian stuff works, but I was obviously a corpsman in the medical department, and well, we were called like the docks, and we got certain special things. It's a couple little advantages. We had our own laundry machine in our department, so we could do our own laundry instead of having to use the shifts. But we had to stand extra watches and when the weather got really rough and people started puking, we had to stand there and hand out meclizine. It was we got pooped on. It was tough being in the medical.
The weather started getting rough. The tiny ship was tossed. If not for the courage of the fearless crew, the minnow would be lost. The minnow would be lost.
My
Know where
boat
that's
got tossed around like a little toy. When we went around the Cape, we
from?
went through weather that the captain said he locked down the whole ship. He just shut everything down. He couldn't go out to smoke or anything like that. And he said afterwards, he said because we slowed down to about 3 to 4 knots, so
Mm.
the boat wasn't in danger. And I called a boat because I know the sailors like it's a ship, and I'm like, shut up, I'm a reservist. It's a boat. I used to say that to piss people off. But he said that he saw a wave crash over the flight deck of our boat, and
Mm.
that's 65 feet off the water line, off off the sea. A wave crashed onto the deck of our boats. That's gnarly. Like most vessels cannot sail around that kind of stuff. So we got tossed bad. It was incredible. It also stole one of the waves took a Ram missile launcher off the boat, like just ripped it completely off the boat. That was a $30 million oops right there.
Mm.
Took a bunch of the big expensive lifeboats. Those are all
Mhm.
millions of dollars, and they took a bunch of those off. It was rough. Sorry, go ahead.
Sure, I would just okay. So always work on a ship with a doctor, and hope he's not a veterinarian. That sounds pretty funny there.
I never saw most of the doctors. They were off in officers' country. They let the corpsmen, they let us do all the work.
Definition of a licking, which looks like a text story here. Um, Now, of course, back by Oliver Brault, a licking. So back in the 30s, the term licking was used as basically a beating. If you got into a fight and you took the abuse, then they would say that you got a licking.
Yeah, like a Timex watch takes a licking and keeps on ticking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and of course, if any of you have, and I'm sure back on Woody probably saw these growing up in syndication. If you saw the old, as we talked about last week, the old Popeye cartoon, you probably heard it used a number of times as well. And like some of those old black and white Popeye cartoons. Books by Edith Britton. You got again, yeah, and again, as I mentioned before, you know, comics back in this time were much like how we view highlights today. It was kind of a mix, but just in the difference between a comic magazine and highlights is comic. They had more comic stories in there, obviously. Um, Write a letter and win $5. Yeah, I guess back then that was a real big selling point. Write a letter and win $5. I think for that they'd have to offer something like 500 today. Right there, Bat Goat.
Well, remember what I said before. I mean, if you adjust that to today's dollars, that's like $50.
Yeah,
That was some good scratch back in '36.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you think about $5. That's like 500 cents. You know, so that'd be like you basically buy 50 comic books at that time.
It's true.
You
It's
know,
true.
big
See,
premium author, be a subscriber.
see what Toys wrote about licking.
Um, no, but I can take a quick peek now. Let's see. Laugh out loud. Wait, what is the new def of a licking? Well, okay, that wasn't a new that was a definition back in the 30s. Back in the 30s, when they used the term licking, it meant, somebody basically took a beating or took abuse, basically. You
Sure,
got into a
he's clowning around a little bit. He's like, so what do we call a licking these days? And so I'm guessing
well,
that's what I'm
maybe,
thinking. He's saying,
maybe people when they see the word licking, they probably think the lick of the Pokemon Licky Tongue.
okay, yeah, or something, something perverted.
Right. And let's just
Hey,
stop there before we really take too much of it.
sure. Let me steer it a different direction. I was watching. I love old Twilight Zones, old black and white Twilight Zones. I'll sit down and
Hmm.
binge those for a week or so. And I was watching one where this dude, he wanted to be a kid again. That's all he talked about was his childhood.
Hmm.
And so like this, let's say this was being filmed in the 60s, like let's call it like 64 Twilight Zone, right? And
Uh-huh.
he was talking about being a kid, right? So
Hmm.
30s. And he always they talked about marbleizing. And so like when he actually went back in time and became a kid, and so all these kids that he thought were his friends, they're like, hey, there's that little rat we don't like. We're gonna marbleize you. Yeah, let's marbleize him. So to marbleize or marble someone was to beat him up. They worked him over pretty good, and then he realized being a kid wasn't all that fun. That was the whole point. But they kept saying, we're gonna marbleize you. I'd never heard that before. I'm wondering if anyone else
Hmm. I hadn't heard that particular version of it, but laugh out loud, and here I am writing stories for free. Licking, yeah, that's another way of putting it. I love Twilight Zones.
had. They're the best. I know. Hey, $5. I mean, even today, it's like write a story and get $5. All right, I'll take a pin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Toys knows exactly what I'm talking about. Like the dude worked at a toy company. That's what I thought at first, Toys, but I went back and watched that. They were saying marbleized. I heard the B in there.
Oh, myrtleize, myrtleize. Actually, I've heard that one because I think I've heard Popeye use that term,
That's
myrtleize.
true. I was just thinking that. Right as you said that, I'm like, yeah, that's right. Popeye did used to say, "I'm gonna mutilate you." So that's you're right, Toys. That's what I was thinking.
Uh, do you know? Let's see. Oh, here's Doc Occult. So this is kind of a one-off story because I remember having read this before. So, oh man, sirens screaming, the car, the car bearing Doc Ock or Doc Occult, investigator of the weird, um, Mapley careens through the city streets. In response to pleas from the police, Occult is rushing to the to the scene of another Methuselah killing. The I think the or at least the title that was given to this story retroactively was the Methuselah murders.
Like old man, like saying you're killing an old guy.
I think, or
Because
yeah,
that's the Methuselah from the Bible lived to be like 900, right? And that's always the joke. Like someone's
yeah,
really old, you call him Methuselah.
yeah. Um, an, another Methuselah murder, tortured and murdered, but nothing stolen. Exactly. The others just one word on the note: Methuselah. Later at the Time Star newsletter morgue, Times Star newsletter morgue. What can I do for what can I do for you, Doc? Let me have all the copy you've got on the victims of the Methuselah killer. Have you gone screwy, occult? Do what I ask, Burke, and you'll get a scoop that'll rock the town. And it reads there, claims ancestors each lived 100 years, expects to do the same. Hmm. I'm remembering another kind of theme where
It's kind of funny these days. That's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back though in the 30s, though, that was a big deal because I don't think many people lived beyond 60 back then.
Yeah.
So, I don't get it. Doc. First, you plaster my name all over the papers with a phony story about how long my ancestors lived. Move us into the joint, and then for 3 nights straight, hide in a closet while I wait in a chair. And so far, nothing happened. Things will happen. Tim, you'll probably get a promotion out of this someday. The thing is, sometimes some of these are a little bit hard to read. Sometimes that's the only thing. Retiring to a closet, Doc waits while uneventful hours pass. Abruptly, there is a slight movement at the entrance to the room. Then a sudden attack. Lift Day's unconscious body is moist. Forget. Man, it's too hard to read. The scan.
You definitely can't. Yeah, you can't read that last one.
Yeah, I mean the scan is bad. A long main line here. Another story by Tom Cooper, which would sound, I think, kind of like a train type story. But that kind of like this Doctor called, he was like the first supernatural hero. He predates Superman. And there's your buddy there, Bat Goat, Slim Pickens.
Slim Pickens, yeah.
Ew, safe at last. I'm sorry I pushed ya, but how did I know there was a big reward for your return? Icky Bob Foggy. What's wrong, pal? I don't like the look in your eye. Nix. Hey! Do you call this gratitude? Bong. Bong! No doggone hairy ape can shake the liver out of me. Good night. Now, why did I lose my temper? I better clear out. Boy, can that baby travel. If I could only hide somewhere.
The heck was it? That was like Slim just ran into some Bigfoot thingy in the forest.
Mm-hmm. Wait, wait, wait. Wonder why he's smiling. Maybe the sap's in love. Slim Pickens by Stanley Randall, of course. Something's 25 cents there. Heck, he saw me. I can't look. I can't lock the cage door, so I apologize for shocking you. You big bully. Wow, he's coming in. I'm a goner. Smack. And that's not a smack of the slap kind either. That's a lip smack. See that there, back goat? Ha ha
Yeah.
ha! Nice, nice work. I'm Colonel Fink, owner of this circus. I'm ready to pay the reward for Pippo's return, sir. And that kiss must worth a $25 bonus. Give me and tiptoe out so you don't wake me up.
Good money back then, so he was like, "Yeah, cool. I'll take it."
Brad Hardy here.
Toys. Did you mean to say a Bazooka Joe comic? You said Double Bubble, and I don't think they had comics in there. Bazooka had comics in it, right?
Let's see. Now that I think about it, I'm almost expired. Um, just kidding. No, I'll live forever. Said in a meek voice. Um, actually, I one of the things that the Methuselah murders were also. Um, I know this is a plot point that's been used in comics a few times, but I know even in Batman they used it as well, the plot point. But there was one scheme where some people think that by killing other people, they actually add lives to their own life. They add years to their own life. I think that's part of the Methuselah legend as well. But anyone have people say, "I'll pay you back on Wimpy Day" yet, or is that just a thing in my family? Well, it sounds like your family must have been a big bunch of Popeye fans because, of course, as Pat Goat and I have alluded to the last couple of weeks here, you'd have Wimpy who'd always say, "I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today."
Yeah, everyone knows it's Tuesday.
That comic felt like a double bubble gum comic. Bazooka did, and Double Bazooka did little 4-panel one-offs.
Yeah, check that, Toys, because I've been eating Double Bubble since I can remember. 1972 is when I first start remembering things, and I don't remember it ever being anything but like a red or green, just single wrapped piece of gum that the wrapper was just that.
It's a fact. Oh wow, we're already past. We're at an hour and 39. So I'm gonna have to probably look in the pace here a little bit. But I had hoped to read that whole Doctor Occult story, but Scan was just too bad, was making it too hard to read.
Okay, good deal, Toys. My bad. That's cool. That's cool.
Here's little Linda, our little helpful little lady here. Little Linda by Whitney Ellsworth, who was another famous writer from back in those days, and his writer and editor. Yeah, a lot of these Henri Duval by Hugh Langley. Let's see.
Treasure Island, very famous book.
Roger Lewis. Yeah. And you notice here too, Ramblin' Jim, a little kid who'd go around rambling on. I remember correctly when we saw a story last month, or last week, he was in the park and he thought he was a dog or something like that. In the wake of the Wanderer. Here's another like seaman naval type adventure with Captain Grimm there. Do that. Okay, so I guess. Oh well. Okay, so it looks like that was it for that then. So we'll take a quick peek at the other book that we were looking at, or the other thing there.
Toys, how much whiskey have you had? The Bazooka Joe is a square bubble gum, and Double Bubble was always around. It was a tube. It was,
I'm going to
you
go
could tell
off
it had been
camera for just a moment here.
okay. You could tell the Double Bubble had come out a long line, and then they cut it, but it was always round from the top and then twisted up like a candy. And so again, yeah, maybe you're right that it was different in Canada, but I never remember Double Bubble being square.
Yep, they did. Oh my God, that. Comics came in the square wrap bubble. Yeah. I think I remember hearing about Bazooka Joe too.
I loved Bazooka Joe when I was a kid and reading those comics, and even though it was the '70s, so those comics were pretty old school. It would be like these kind of comics that you're showing us here, Mike. So
yeah.
they were like kind of lame and not funny, but I personally loved them.
But here's of course Famous Funnies number 22 again. Famous Funnies incorporate Eastern Color. Approximate on sale date April 15, 1936. Or some The Adventures of Jabby, Alley Oop. Of course, Buck Rogers, Napoleon, Herky, Slim and Tubby, Buddy and Fatty, and Dunn, Joe Palooka, Freckles, all these different stories. Again, another bunch of one. Let's see. Let's see if so we can read at least the cover there. Let's see if we can do that. This catch will make me famous. This catch will make me famous. So they're trying to. Oh man, look at that right there. Looks like the dude's about to squash the little guy. You see that, Goat?
Yeah, he's going to knock him over there. He's going to run him over pretty good.
And so, yeah, so basically, these are, of course, as you guys know, all of these are just keeping up with the Joneses. These are all reprints. And, Bungle Family, Jane Arden, all that. Famous Funny. Now, some of these titles would move around through a number of Joe Palooka, Ned Brandt, Jane Arden, Lena Pry. I also know they would show up later in Quality Comics feature funnies as well. By that point, they started going from doing just simply the comic strip reprints to original stories based on those characters. So right now, this is all just comic book, but some of these characters would actually start having original stories written in comic books, by the end of the 30s.
Hey, Toys, I just read that. I read that link. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Good call. Good call. Double Bubble started out their comics in said 1930s. Dub and Bub were their dudes instead of Bazooka Joe. So I would imagine Bazooka Joe maybe even copied Double Bubble if that's the case.
Now this is what we have to look forward to next week, guys. Look at how many comics. Let's see. So we got. So for next week here, let's see, Comics Magazine #2 from Centaur. That was it was issue 1 that we were reading last week that had the Dr. Mystic story in it. You got King Comics. I'll probably take a bit of a look here at New Comics since the 5th issue there, and Popular Comics. Well, Popular Comics probably won't have anything in it. We might, or because we know that we don't get our first chance of even reading into Popular Comics until issue 6, apparently. So yeah, more fun. Popular. So actually, Popular Comics actually released 2 books in May here. On sale May 1st. On sale May 28th. So 5th and 6th there, New Comics #5, and Look at the Cow there. But basically, yeah. But just to kind of give you guys an idea how this progresses the end of the year here. So you got, let's see. So we just had 4 of them there, and then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 comics released in May. Then you kind of go back down, a couple. Well, basically it's the same. It's so now you'll start to see here things will start to try to settle down a bit. I'm just showing you guys like what to look forward to, basically. Popular, and again, you had sometimes you'd have 2 comics being published in a month, 2 of the same title instead of just 1. And as I said, I'll probably read through like some of the more like milestone issues, like Factors of 5 or 10 kind of thing, just so we can get an idea of the language aspect of it. I'm just right now just going through these real quick here to show you what funnies. So there's another book from Dell that will be starting up soon. So as you can tell just from looking at this guy's here in November of 36. Here's one that will probably be like a detective picture stories #1 from Centaur. I'll be probably one of the first funny picture stories. These will probably be like some of the first like themed comics where you have one specific theme being shown in a comic. Even though King Comics, you technically say with the characters and all that, but that's all to look forward to as we'll continue all that as we do this over the next few weeks, just giving you guys like kind of a nice little sneak peek as to what's going to be shown there. We're already at an hour and 49, so I think it might be a good time to kind of wrap this up. But would you agree there, Paco?
Yeah, sounds good. I wanted
Okay.
to bring up a question here right in the end of the show before you get into history. Remember, I was mentioning movies that are quotable, and Mike, I'm not sure this is like your forte if you're really into this, but like old comedies, and I brought up the movie Airplane. I just wanted to ask real quick to anyone out there, I wrote down a real quick list of what I think are the most quotable comedy movies that, like, you can say Jaws, like, we're going to need a bigger boat. That's one of the most famous lines ever. People have made TV series based off, we're going to need a bigger whatever from Jaws. But for comedies, I'd say Airplane 1 and 2, Top Secret, Spaceballs is very quotable, Caddyshack, Animal House has great lines, National Lampoon Vacation, and Three Amigos. The Jerk, Toys. There's a good one. Yeah, that's pretty quotable too.
Yeah, I myself am not quite as much of a movie person, but
That's how I started out when I was a kid. It was just watching movies over and over again until my brother and I we started with Strange Brew. We could do the whole movie, say all the lines out.
yeah, okay. So with that, as I said, we're coming up on 2 hours pretty quick here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start wrapping things up. We're gonna go through and do this day in each history. So let me just review, and then of course, as I'm doing this stuff, Paco, you can give some commentary as you may wish. Okay. All right. So anyway, so today being Friday, December 4th, 2020, let's take a look back at this day in each history. So first off, we are going to head. Oh, wait, no, that wasn't really the right one there. Yet, why I did that? Just that's how I stop a sneeze. I just plug my own nose there.
That works.
Okay, so there we go. So, okay, so heading back, give me a sec here. I'm going to go off camera real quick.
Groundhog Day. That's another good one. I don't know that there's so many quotable lines that really stick out. It's just a good I mean, what? So when Phil Nyerson and he punches him out. What other good lines are there other than the alarm clock playing "I Got You, Babe"? Same bad time, same bad channel. Find that neat. You get what I'm saying? Like when I brought up the airplane thing, and "Don't Call Me Shirley." Even Mike says, I'm not really into that, but he gets that because that's been referenced so many times.
All right, so first off, going heading back 30 years ago today. On this date, 30 years ago today, back in 1990, the Z-Man, the late Tom Zenk, defeated Arn Anderson for the NWA World TV title in Atlanta, Georgia. This is back when WCW was still under the NWA banner. So on this date, 30 years ago today, Tom Zenk would defeat Arn Anderson for the NWA World TV Championship, which would eventually become the WCW World TV Championship. This is, of course, at the time when, as Ted Turner had owned WCW at the time, they were still under the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance banner. So that happened. So Tom Zenk defeating Arn Anderson for the World TV title on this date 30 years ago today. And moving ahead now in time, on this date 10 years ago today, in 2010, the Bleach movie Bleach Hellverse would premiere in Japan on this date in 2010, 10 years ago today. The Bleach movie Bleach Hellverse would premiere in Japan on this date 10 years ago today. Bleach, of course, the story of Soul Reapers and all that. Now, don't you now? Now, don't you now? Heck, tell me you don't remember me, 'cause I done Heckshire remember you, Rison.
Ned Ryerson. That's Toys showing me up. Very, very well done, sir. That's wonderful. I remember that. That's great.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Ned,
on this date 10
that
years
is the
ago
funniest
today,
thing. Though.
on this date 10 years ago today in 2010, Bleach, the Bleach movie, Bleach Hellverse, would premiere in Japan on this date 10 years ago today. And last but not least, on this date 1 year ago today, last year, 1 year ago today, the 50th and final issue of Volume 4 of Deathstroke went on sale on this date in 1 year ago today in 2019. A story titled Terminator, 38 pages, written by James C. Owsley, penciled by Carlos Gulayan and Fernando Passerine, inked by, okay, you guys can read all the credits there. Basically, on this date 1 year ago today, the 50th and final issue of Volume 4 of Deathstroke went on sale on DC Comics. Oh, did Leto just take off?
Yeah, he just said bye, y'all.
Bye. So that's basically all that happened on this day in each history, guys.
Very cool. Very cool.
So I hope you all enjoyed the stream tonight.
Very good stream. I had fun. Thanks for having me here, Mike. It was a good time.
No problem. I always enjoy having. It's always good to have a co-host to kind of talk back and forth, commentate with on some of this stuff. Particularly this more historical stuff. But as I was showing you earlier too, as time moves on, you're going to see more and more comics, and for the most part, they're all considered more or less monthly titles. But sometimes they may skip a month due to the economics of the time. So, all right, guys. Well, till Monday then, I shall bid you all adieu, and I hope you guys have a nice weekend. I'll see you back here on Monday.
See you
Bye.
on Monday.
Bye.